Hi guys, I'm Mike and this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome to a special edition of the F1 Weekly News Show. Now, this series had kind of been put on hold until we had a return to action on the racetrack to kind of keep you up to date. But with today's news, it felt like it needed an episode to go through what's going on. And in the link there'll be links in the description down below to the news articles that I've got these stories from. And if you can see by the thumbnail, obviously today Williams have announced that they will have put the team up for sale, whether that is a part sale or a full sale to a new investor. Now, this is obviously huge news. It was kind of no shock that Williams were in financial troubles. I'll also leave a link in the description down below to the Williams loan deal that they had with Michael Latifi that was going on before the COVID-19 crisis hit Williams. But for me, there's either two options here with this. Claire said in her kind of interview and when she spoke about this, that the main priority is the team, the business and the people that work for it. So this is kind of maintaining the team in it, and they're hoping that it will be the Williams name that remains in F1, but there is no guarantee with the kind of deal that they are putting up that the new investor can choose to rebrand the team if they wish to do so. So that is quite a big thing, that we could actually be losing the Williams name from F1 itself. But for me, this is either going to be someone completely different who comes in and buys the Williams team, but the main guy in the driving seat here, or at least his consortium, will be Michael Latifi. Obviously, he brought sponsorship into the team at the back end of the 2019 season, and his son was confirmed, Nicholas Latifi, to drive for the Williams outfit, and his consortium had also been a part of that 50 million loan deal that was, secured for Williams. Now, anyone else who's coming in, obviously I'm not a financial expert and I don't know the ins and outs of this deal there, but logically to me I would assume that whoever bought that team would have to also repay that £50 million loan that Williams have in place with Michael Latifi. So if Michael Latifi buys the team, it would make sense that he's the one in priority here, because he could obviously knock off that 50 million loan deal, because it would be his consortium that were purchasing and taking the team forward. Now, Claire sounded pretty confident about the survival of the team. There have been no staff cutbacks as to date with anything. It just means that Williams, as we know it, is probably not going to be the same team. And you could question in modern F1 whether that is a good thing or not, because their last success obviously came in 1997 when Jacques Villeneuve won the world title, and it's been a kind of steady decline from that point to where we are today with Williams. With kind of fresh ownership and fresh leadership, they've already made kind of some useful acquisitions behind the scenes as a team at Williams. Is this the step that they need to go forward? And Claire reiterated that the 2021 rules, obviously 2022 now, are the main priority of nailing and making this team a competitive outfit again. And it is trying to be independent. Obviously they've turned down deals to kind of be in a partnership with Mercedes in the past, so they're still looking to be an independent outfit, but it will likely be, well, it will be under new ownership. Who that will be is yet to be seen. And this also saw the termination of their main title sponsor, Rocket. And Claire said they are confident at securing a new title sponsor in the months to come. Obviously, she has to be positive in this time, because there will be a lot of people who will jump to negative conclusions on this. But she's confident in doing it, and it means that we will see a different livery on the Williams car when hopefully we have a return to racing at the start of July in Austria. So that really encapsulates the Williams story for me, and this is a big one. It kind of felt like, I said in that Michael Latifi loan deal video, that it felt like this was coming and the sale of Williams was almost inevitable, or a takeover was, at least, to become like a hybrid new team. But yes, I think the COVID-19 crisis has certainly made things accelerate quicker than what Williams probably would have hoped for in this situation. But guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this Williams news story and what that means for the Williams team brand as a whole. Now, other two main ones. Obviously, this is a time a lot of teams have been muted about pulling out. Renault have been muted, Mercedes have been muted, McLaren has been muted of being in financial difficulties and searching for a 250 million loan deal. Now, that McLaren one is still more speculation to me, so I'm going to leave that one out of this news roundup. And what I'm going to switch now to Renault. So Renault have confirmed that they are committed to F1. And this should be no surprise, because Cyril was still talking very positively, and the budget cap that is in place and the budget cap that got passed by F1 earlier in the week is absolutely massive, I think, for continuing their involvement. Now, they have gone for, I think it is muted, for 1.8 billion dollars in cutback over the next 3 years, but they still maintain that they will be competing in F1 and hopefully as a competitive outfit as well. So that is fantastic for the security of an F1 team after all this COVID-19 business is over. And also yesterday, it was being heavily muted that Lance Stroll was in the process of maybe looking to take over Mercedes, or at least securing a major stakehold in Mercedes, with Toto Wolff resigning from his post of team principal and going more to the off-track side of things, and maybe even linking more heavily with Aston Martin, because the relationship between Lawrence Stroll and Toto Wolff is well documented. But Dharma have come out and said, obviously the main managing partner in Mercedes, that all these are rumours, and that Mercedes intend to compete within Formula 1 for more years with Toto Wolff at the helm of that team. Now, obviously, they could be something just to dispel rumours, and they don't want anything to weaken a negotiating position, but in all likelihood, we have to take this on face value. And for me, it means that Mercedes and Renault, two teams that were a little bit up in the air whether they would continue their involvement within the sport, have confirmed their at least short to long-term involvement within the sport, as long as a team probably can commit to the sport, outside of Ferrari, who you know will always be in the sport because F1 is in their bloods. But those guys are the three main stories that I wanted to round up in terms of security of F1 teams within the sport. I probably expect over the next few months Haas to probably come into this conversation a little bit more, because Gene Haas was on the board anyway, but Williams are the major one. But what we have to take here, this isn't us probably losing a team from the F1 grid. Now, if a buyer is failed to be found, then obviously that would be the case. But, you know, Michael Latifi had bought a 10% stake in McLaren, and obviously he's got a lot of invested interest in the Williams team. I think not worst case scenario, because he might be very good for Williams, but he certainly will take over if nobody else will, I would imagine, in this situation. But it's very interesting talking about, you know, we knew the sport was financially going to be hit hard. That's why racing getting back is so important, because if we can televise races, then it means sponsorship deals. You know, the sponsors getting shown on TV, and it's massive. It's the tracks that will suffer, but F1 as a sport will be able to do okay and at least recuperate some of the money they have lost during this period if they are able to get racing on. But that's three teams and their futures in F1 sport. That's my take on things, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the information there. Let me know in the comments below on what you think about this Williams being put up for sale, what you think it means for the team, what it means for kind of Renault and Mercedes, you know, committing long-term futures to the sport. obviously for me, those are both really positive things. Williams is a disappointment, but I don't think it is the end of Williams as a whole. It's just Williams as a team evolving into a new team. Maybe like the Renault team obviously evolved from the Enstone team, from Benetton through to Renault, through to Lotus Renault, and then back to Renault again. You know, it may have different names and the thing, but the team as itself remains as its core. But don't forget, guys, if you are new around here and haven't done so already, you can click that subscribe button and bell notification to keep up to date with all our latest content coming out on the channel. Make sure you get involved in those comments on those stories down below. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing!